Hi Greedy 3Ds, if you liked the video I did a couple of videos back where I made an alien popping out of the ceiling, make sure you check the end of the description where you can get hold of that video. I've also made a dinosaur popping out of a wall. If that's something that may interest you, stay tuned. The model we got from Cults 3D just cost me under £4 to buy, and the good thing with this as well, you can hang your headphones or your PlayStation controller on it. We will be creating this monster on the Bambu Labs A1, and I'm using some Jam J high-speed PLA. I'm going to start off in green. Although it's green, that's no particular reason for that. I just had a bundle of green knocking around, so we're starting off as you can see, and it wasn't too long, around about 12 hours when the dinosaur was all finished. And when it cools on the build plate, I love the way it just slips off the build plate. We'll need to get those supports off, but they don't look too imposing, and a little bit of a heads up, they weren't too bad to get off really. One thing I do like about modern day supports, these slimline tree supports, is they are literally so easy to get off. You don't have to sit there with tweezers, twiddles and bandages and plasters these days. They literally just pull off with your bare hands and they're coming off beautiful, and they haven't left marks below that are going to need much work to do. And that's a good thing about PLA printing. A lot of the time you can get away with just printing and then going straight into your painting, so that all the supports are off. And look at the detail on that. I haven't done anything with the settings, this is just Bambu Labs doing its thing. I've moved on to this matte colour PLA. It's Jam J, it's their matte PLA, and it's beautiful stuff. And just look at this, the supports don't even need taking off. The hand just, or the claw, or the whatever it is, the foot, whatever it is, it comes off without any need to fiddle with those supports at all. That is so easy to get off. A tantamount to the printer, the PLA, and also all the settings. What I'm going to do, and you've seen me do this before, I'm sure you have, is use a little bit of resin and a UV light. Yeah, move it out of the way, the UV light there, Greedy. I'm just going to paint this onto the claws using a brush. I'm just going to get it on there, not too thick, a nice sort of thin coat, and then I'm going to hold it under the UV light until it cures. And what this does is some parts of the DMA of that PLA print can be a little bit rough, and if you just paint it over with a little bit of resin, let it dry, and then once it's all dry, let it cure. Once it's all cured, give it another coat and it'll be really shiny. And once I've painted this, they will look like claws. All I'm going to do is use a little bit of cloth soaked in a bit of IPA just to clean off any excess resin that's on there, and then I'm going to dry it with a bit of tissue, and that's ready for the next stage, which is depriming, which we is going to be using the matte black primer from the Army Painter. Again, on the Greedy 3D bin of paint in the garden, we're going to blast it all the way across. Make sure you're wearing some respiratory protection, unlike Greedy, who's thinking here, oh, we're in the garden, I don't need to, although I did probably get a face full of this stuff. If you're indoors, make sure you wear a mask, and if you're outdoors, it's good advice. And here he is, all primed up. You saw my mask there, yeah? You saw it because I'm indoors, yeah? What we're saying. Right, taking a bit of this fake pink to start with, we're going to do the inside of the mouth, and I'm just loading this into my Mobius 2mm airbrush, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to blast every single part of his mouth. Any part that's on the inside of his mouth is going to get a blast over with this fade pink. We're going to do a little bit more work, of course we are, but what we're doing at this stage is we're getting some base colours down, some colours that we're going to be working on, and you've got to start somewhere, so we're starting with this pink. The other thing to make sure you do is where the teeth are on the outside of them, you need to put some pink there, because obviously we need to make those teeth look like they are coming out of something. They're coming out of gums, and gums are notoriously pinkish. Again, we'll do more work, but make sure you go over the whole thing. And look at that, old Pinky the dinosaur. He's looking good, isn't he? That mouth is looking very psychedelic. I'm going to take some pure red next, and I'm going to give the tongue a coat of the pure red, and right at the back of the throat as well. I'm going to hit some areas in the mouth as well with the tongue, with the red. But to be honest, I did that and I didn't think it looked too good, so I went back over some of those areas in the mouth with the pink, but I didn't go back over the tongue. The tongue I want to be quite stark. It's quite a character of this model, that tongue, so I want it to stick out. Moving on to the flesh of the dinosaur, his skin, I'm going to use some brown, starting off with this darker brown from the Army Painter, and I'm going to do the areas first that would naturally be in the shadow, if you will, of the brown. So just watch what I do here, and you haven't got to copy what I do, of course, but you'll get the gist of what I'm doing. I'm just looking at him logically. There's no real guidance to this. This is just using your artistic flair. Just go on any areas that think would be more in the shadow than others. Use a bit of precision with your airbrush, and again, same with his feet, his hands, his claws, his whatever they are. Same with those. Just look at what would be the darker areas, and if you're not sure, just have a little crack at it. I always say this, worst case scenario, just prime it again and start again. You've got nothing to lose, and unless you have a crack at it, and unless you just try, you'll never learn. Moving on to leather brown, which is the next higher colour up in the triad colour from the Army Painter Air. You can see what I'm doing here. I'm just going to add in other areas of brown. I'm going to merge them in. I'm going to overlap them. I'm just going to go over certain places of him. What I try to do with it is just try to think of, if the light is hitting him, if the light is going to be reaching certain areas of this dinosaur, the top part's going to be lighter than the bottom part. The parts that are sticking out more are going to be a little bit lighter. And I've also got a reference picture hanging up on the wall of a Velociraptor, probably from one of the Jurassic Park movies. And I'm just trying to look at that as well and stick to it, because if you're not sure, just copy something else. You know, somebody else has done it probably better beforehand, so why reinvent the wheel? Just see if you can find that reference file and copy it, and just have a little crack, have a go. Half of this hobby is just having the sort of gumption to have a little crack at it and just do your best. And I've got to be honest, and I think you'll agree, when you see this finished, it's come out really, really nice. I'm really chuffed with it, and there's a few tricks of the trade, just using different shades of brown to get different kind of colours on there, and that's all you need to do. I'm going to move on to a lighter colour brown just to highlight some more of those areas, but you know, if you use the same kind of colour and just change the shade of it, and one of the things the Army Painter does really, really well is it gives you the same shades in a triad, where there's three of them, a darker mid and a light tone, and it does the work for you because all the colours will match wonderfully. And that's what I've done here. I've just used their brown triad of colours, and I think it looks really, really well. Just to add to that as well, I'm using some Agrax Earthshade. This is a Citadel paint, but it's like a water. It's good for shadows, this stuff, and it's good for effects. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint this again over those darker areas, the shadowed areas, if you like, and I'm just going to add it into places I think probably need it. And I'm flying by the seat of my pants on this. You know, there's no real guidance I'm going to give you here, apart from use what you feel and follow the advice that your ancestors are telling you. Just have a little go at it. You know what areas on him are going to be a little bit darker, and you know what's going to be a little bit lighter, so try to stick to the darker areas and just have a go and get it on there. I can't teach you to be an artist, but I can just, you know, show you how I've done it and show you how you'll see how other people have done it, and try and learn from that. You can see that the head in the background is starting to look okay, isn't it? I think that's starting to look good. I'm doing the same again with his claws, and I'm just painting them with a bit of that Agrax Earthshade to darken them up. Once that's all done and I'm happy with it, I'm just going to protect it with a little bit of matte varnish. It's not a shiny clear coat, this one. It's just a matte varnish, and it's just going to have a light coat all the way across, because I don't want any of those colours to be coming off when I move on to the brushing stage, and you're going to be holding it and handling it. And if you don't seal your work in, there's always a risk of it all pulling off. The good thing with PLA over primer as well is those paints are pretty well secured in place, and all we're doing here is we're really, really laying them down and holding them in place. Red tone is what I'm going to do next. Now, I caught some of this on video, but my camera angle was such that you couldn't see a lot of it. So with the red tone, I've just painted it over the tongue, and I've concentrated it in that centre part where the tongue dips in. I did think about using speed paint, but just this red tone did the job admirably. And there's the tongue, and as you can see, the pink, the tongue being red, the sort of highlights in there, it all looks really, really cool, doesn't it? My favourite ever colour is Skeleton Bone by the Army Painter, and all I'm doing here is, again, what we spoke before about highlighting the high areas. I'm just using a dry brush to go over what I consider to be the areas of him that will see a little bit more light reflection, so the bits that are sticking out, the bottom of his jaw, the edge of his jaw, etc. And the thing I love about dry brushing is it's really, really simple, and it has such a fantastic after effect. So if you've never done dry brushing, and I'm sure a lot of you have, it's definitely a technique to use. Just put your paint on the brush, get the majority of it off with a bit of tissue. If you can see on the right side there, just on the picture, there's like an old resin cast or something, model or something that I'm going to throw away. Well, I use that to just get the majority of the paint off, and then I know I've only got a splattering left on the brush, and that's what I'm using here. The other thing I will say is, with the part of the mouth there, give that a blast across with Army Painter. That really does add to the effect of the skin being stretched. And he's done, that's the colours on him. It wasn't difficult, it just required a little bit of time and effort to get the colours how you want them, really. For the teeth, again, yep, using my favourite paint, old Army Painter. I'm going to paint every single one of the teeth. I'm going to be really careful to not paint around the gum line. Sometimes you're going to overspill it, but you can always touch it back up with the pink. And I'm just going to paint every single one of those teeth, inside, outside and all over, until that's done. Didn't take too long. No, I'm lying, it took bloody ages. And there you go, that's it, looking a bit bland. We're going to do a bit more work on them, of course. We don't want them to look quite that clean and unbrushed. But while that's all drying, taking just some white paint, or in this case an ivory paint. White would do, because we're going to go over it with a speed paint, but I'm just going to paint around those eyes. Now be really careful, you don't really want to be messing up your paint that you've done around the eyes, so be a little bit careful with that. Once that's dried, I'm going to take some Zealot Yellow. This is the yellow speed paint. This is an Army Painter first generation speed paint, and I am going to just bosh that on. I'm really sorry, I think this is the second generation speed paint. Pop that on, and when it's dried I'm going to give it another coat. And the good thing with these speed paints, especially over white, is they just leave some really fantastic effects. Now Dinosaur eyes are, well, you know, I looked at quite a few reference pictures and some were green, some were yellow. I just thought like an orangey, reddy, yellow colour will be what I want it to be, and I was happy with that. And there you can see it, that's finished now. And all I've done extra with it is of course paint the black streak in the middle. I've also took a really thin brush with a little bit of dark wash, and I've just drawn some lines coming away from the pupil, and that's it. I've done nothing else with it. That's what the speed painter's done, and once we've shined them up, that's going to look awesome. While we're talking speed paints, this is definitely now first generation Army Painter speed paints, and I'm going to make his teeth look a little bit tartary. I am pretty sure there was no dentists in the Jurassic period. I'm pretty sure there was anyway, so I would suggest we're going to tartar those teeth, that we're going to make it look like he's never seen a toothbrush, and indeed unless he's eaten the dentist he never will have seen a toothbrush. So just put that on the tops of the teeth and then just draw it down with your brush, just to make the shading look a little bit darker at the top and lighter at the bottom, and let the speed paint do its thing. Speed paint will yellow it up, this will brown it up, this will dirty it up. And all I did when it was all dry is I just went back over it with the speed paint right at the top to make the tops look a little bit more dirty. And that's it, that's the teeth done. Again, quite a standout feature of the mouth is the tongue and the teeth, and of course we're going to shine everything up in a bit, but he's getting done. In fact, he's virtually done now. Getting some of this Vallejo gloss, and I'm going to put this over the eyes. Now you really want the eyes to be really shiny. This is going to stand out like a sore thumb. So those eyes need to be shiny, so get that gloss and get a real good coat on there. You can also put another coat on if you really want to, but one tends to do the trick. For me it did anyway, and I'm just going to blather it all across. I'm also going to paint some of that wash across his gum line to make that look a little bit wet as well. That's not the end of the glossing, but that's the end of his mouth. I'm going to put some on the claws as well, just to make them shiny. Don't worry, it looks a bit white and blue, but it will go clear. Taking some gloss varnish now, and I'm going to go mad and paint the inside of his mouth like Billy-O. I want the inside to look really shiny. I don't want the rest of him to, just the inside of his mouth, the outside of his teeth, his tongue, etc. And blast it all the way across. Make sure if you're doing this inside you've got your protection on, your respiratory protection, your mask on, because this stuff absolutely stinks and you don't want to be breathing it in. And once it's dry, go over it again until it's really shiny. Now hanging it up with this model in particular, there's actually little holes in the back of the head that you can just hang it up, push it on, and it's done. And that is the Dinosaur. That's the Emerging From a Wall Dinosaur. It wasn't too difficult to make. I really enjoyed making it, but I think the best thing to do now is just have a little look at it all finished. Let me know what you think. So if you want an art piece sticking out of your wall, or you just want somewhere a little bit fancy to hang your PlayStation controller, then you've got it in the Dinosaur head and hands. The other good thing with this file is it comes down with the multicolour version. If you've got the A1 and the AMS, you can do this dinosaur in all its colours, and that file is all included in there for you, which is a great thing if you don't want to paint it all up. If you've enjoyed what you've seen today, hit the subscribe button. It really is quick and simple. Go on, hit it now. I'll wait for you. It's down below somewhere. You can't miss it. Just give it a quick click. It's really important to support the channel, and if you want to support it in other ways, we have got a Patreon that's free to join, or if you want to pay a couple of quid a month, you can do that as well. That also helps support us. And if you are on one of the paid tiers, you get a couple of extra STL files absolutely for free. So have a look in the description for that. Let me know what you think about the painting. Did you like it? Didn't you like it? Constructive criticism is always welcome here at Greedy 3D. Let me know what you thought of this in the comments, and I'll see you next time real soon here on old Greedy 3D.